Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's your boy Marvin. We're going to get into a video and I'm going to be commenting on it. Andrew Tate versus Sadia Khan. Let me tell you something about Sadia Khan. I've actually listened to her quite a bit. This is on her actual podcast. She is incredibly intelligent. Some of the points I tend to sort of differ over, but you've got to look at the way she explained things are very, very comfortable to understand. Andrew Tate, a lot of people don't like him. Some women think that he's bad news and that he believes in men on a high level. He also said some things which he does now regret. I think that he's like Marmite. People like him or they don't like him. It's just as simple as that. I think in a business he's great. Some of the stuff he says I don't always agree with, but I do think that motivational, especially for young men, is good. But I tend to know when to take him seriously and know when not to take him seriously. That's just the way I am. And you've got to look at both sides of that coin. Let's get straight into the video.
I'm not sure you can open. My point back into that is I think we've got to guess what's going live. So let's have your opinions on this man. Andrew Lubner.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Sorry, I got overexcited, didn't I? You caught me all excited. How are you?
Now you can go into this conversation more now. So
okay,
I didn't want to tell them this is purely unplanned.
Yeah, we were actually
They don't
supposed to
know
meet
this.
today, but we couldn't get it all sorted. But we made it in the end. Praise be to God, we got it.
That's
in the
right.
end. We got it.
Fate.
As you walked in, we were just discussing how women tend to become OnlyFans. They push this agenda rather than the mother, the wife, the nice housewife, or a woman to become an engineer. Lubna was saying, I believe truly it's women's fault. They blame men, but women are giving them in. They're making it easy on them.
Can I say something? I really have a message to all the young girls out there. Okay, it's not about, let's not do the blame game, because it's not going to do anything for anyone. It's you've got the power. Okay, this is your life. You've got the power. My mother always told me that the man is the head and the woman is the neck. You can be smart, you can be educated. Don't waste your time. Don't take away your power by just going on Instagram, being an influencer, not doing anything with your life. And don't play the victim. Be nobody's victim. You know what I mean? That's That's my thought.
And
But-
I was a bit more. It's also the men's fault because they invest in these.
It's always the men's fault, isn't it?
Wallah. I would say.
Voila! Doesn't mean it's the all truth, yeah.
It's a societal issue. If I'm a girl and if I'm a vulnerable 15-year-old girl with no money and I can either go to school and get a long education, or there's a guy that's going to pay for my flights and my rent, if I just post a thirst trap, you're speaking to vulnerable people, not just educated people in society.
Yes, but you have a choice. Do you die?
It is very true, very, very, very true. I do think if, not just for men too, if someone's going to make things life easier for you while you're younger, in the times we live in, and get things a lot quicker, then you're going to do that. It is crazy, the world we live in. I do see sort of both sides of the coin. I do think sometimes young people are going to jump on the train and thinking, yeah, I'm going for it, whatever happens, happens. I think that's the life we live in now. And yeah, there is a risk to it and vulnerability, like what Sadia said.
Die screaming like a little girl, or do you die with dignity?
Can I just intercept with one thing? You made a good point about 5 minutes back. You did say you go to like Jordan, Israel, Afghanistan, or India, or some villages. The women are poor. They have nothing. Maybe no fathers have been killed. They have nothing. Yet you don't see them act that way.
But they have a different form of
that's a
they have a different form of that. They marry, even if a guy's 20 years older than him, they'll marry into him when she's 15 years old because they're in survival mode. So I think what we're neglecting is if men stop investing in these girls, these OnlyFans girls, and start investing in the good girls, there's more motivation to be good. But if I was a 14-year-old in this day and age, I'd be like, I'm just going to work out and get a BBL and get a shortcut.
It's valid. It's a good point.
Thank you.
But
society's degenerate. It's not men and women. Society's degenerate. It depends on what part of the world, of course, as well. But especially in the Western world, there are such benefits for degeneracy, and there's no stigma against it. There's none of the stigma. Even the things you're discussing and talking about, I agree with you completely. But a lot of these girls don't feel any shame. They don't feel any ounce of shame.
And it's a job. It's no different to...
Very true. This is my thing. What Andrew Tate is saying. It's up to the individual person. If you're old enough to go out and want to go on Instagram or be a model or go into the adult industry, that's entirely on you. Like you said, as long as people are earning money, that's all people care about these days. And like I said, they're not ashamed. And he's right about that. Some are, some are not. It's as simple as that. But the majority, I don't think they give a toss, to be honest with you, as long as they're seeing that money.
To a job. We've normalized it to the point where it just feels like a job for these women. And I think that when I was saying to them when I was younger and before, if you were known as, in my culture, Pakistani, you know, you grew up in Luton, you know, and so you know, if I even walked into a restaurant with a boy, it'd be like, oh my god, she's such a slag, like straight away I'd get a label and I wouldn't be able to get married. But now these girls are getting married to rappers, they're having kids with rappers, a stripper is getting married. So what motivation is left for young women when men are dropping their standards in terms of promiscuity? They don't mind a promiscuous woman anymore.
I don't think men are ever going to stop wanting to see bikini pictures. You know what I mean? It's not going to change. That's why I'm saying it's up to us. Like I'm saying, we really need to make the effort because we are the mothers. You know what I mean? I just feel like we're taking away from our power. And I agree with you in what you're saying because yes, a lot of girls don't have opportunities, X and Y. That's why I think it's all about education. You know, you find a lot of wrong things going on in society, mostly in the poorer areas as well. So it is really all about education, I think.
Yeah, but I do think that's a privilege.
I think the term is, like Andrew's mentioned before on podcast, godless society.
There's a huge split. What we're discussing here is not universal across the planet, right? The things we're discussing here, the idea of women, like you're saying, having a reputation and promiscuity being frowned upon, all those things make perfect sense here. The idea of a woman sticking to education and not getting a bad reputation and working hard, that makes sense here. But in Miami, it's godless. It's completely a godless city.
Things are not normal what they used to be. And I do think it's due to social media changing people's thoughts and mind that they can do this, they can do that. I think the normality of going to university, getting a degree, or going to college, having a good job, I think it's all out the window. I think the dating game's changed. I think what people want out of life has changed. It's not as serious, it's not as committed to it once was, say 20, 30 years ago, or beyond that, our parents and our grandparents. It's completely different now. And I just think this kind of life is a part of society. And whether you like it or not, whether you're for it or against it, it's just gone that way. And I think it's very, very hard to go back to the way it was before. Yes, it depends on how you've been brought up, on what your values are. But a lot of people value that now. It's just as simple as that, and it's sad.
If I don't believe in God, praise be to God I do, but if I don't have the idea that God's watching me, what motivation as a young girl with a great body and great looks would I have to go the long route to getting success when there's a man willing to pay me 2-3 grand just for a feet pick?
I think
you know, so why don't we address the men in not being...
But are we all going to be sheep? Like, for example, and a lot of people say he has money, he has it all. Why would you become Muslim when you have everything? Why would he want to limit himself in a way? So surely God's given us brains or ways to think. What is life about? What's the purpose?
God watching, but it's not just as God watching. Oh, I'm gonna go to hell. You know what I mean? I think it goes beyond that. I mean, you still have a brain. God created you with a brain. You should still have principles without that. But I think even when it comes to, yes, education is a privilege, but nowadays the real influence is on social media. And any kid in Gaza, there's an amazing rapper in Gaza, God bless him, like, he's on social media, he's an influencer, you know what I mean? If a kid in Gaza has access to social media, then we can have influence. That's why we need more women role models.
Yeah, definitely need that.
And then the influencers will also become less and less, because girls will see, well, you know what, I do have another chance, I do have another option.
But I think the broader question is, I'd like to ask you two very intelligent ladies, why do you think society is trying to program women to act this way? Because I believe society is trying to, especially in the West, it's trying very hard. We're talking about the advantages of a girl doing OnlyFans, for example. Yes, her life can improve. But the broader question is, why is all the culture, all of society, the matrix as a whole, trying to destroy the baseline morality of humans, men and women? Because they're trying to convince men not to be men. Everything that was traditionally masculine, everything I've said has got me canceled. They tried to ruin my life for saying a man should be a man. And if you say a woman should be a woman and she should protect herself and protect her access to herself, and she should not allow men to just view her naked, etc., then you're somehow demonized. And they want to put Cardi B in place instead, where she's saying that everything that a woman can get naked, and that's fantastic, and anyone who disagrees with it is it slut shaming? Is that called a thing?
Shaming.
So why?
It's great points. Great points. I think you got so many people thinking that way, going left, and so many people thinking right. I think when you're direct and you're trying to normalise things, it's kind of a thing of the past, normalising things now, because I think people have got used to this fucked up culture. Some people find it exciting, some people don't like it and just switch off of social media. I think you've got to. I think you've got to be smart enough to concentrate on yourself, because life goes very, very quickly. I think that's important. And I do think that basically bad girls or stripping off to some artists is seen as normal, and young people follow it, and it is disgraceful sometimes, but it's just the society we live in. I may not like it, but thousands will. It's just the way it is. You know, I can complain about many, many different things and thinking, I don't like this, I don't like that, but 1 million or 2 million or 10 million or 100 million people may like what I thought was bad. Everyone has their own mind to think where we're going, but I think people just go along with society and what is new and what makes money, and that's what dominates the pages.
Why is society doing this to men and women? That's the real question.
Well, I think if you're breaking down the home, the best and quickest way to do that is attacking a woman. And there's more money in lonely, sad women. We consume everything. So if I get to a certain age and I'm not married, I'm going to be more likely to be on prescription drugs. I'm going to be more likely to turn to surgery. I'm going to be more likely to just indulge. Whereas when you have a purpose, those things all take a back burner. So that's why I think it's completely designed to make more money and to destroy the home and make people dependent on, then your God becomes social media. When you don't have a God and you don't have a stable home, your God becomes society. The laws determine your morality, and the quicker they can get you to believe that God doesn't exist and the law is your source of morality, the quicker they can control you.
I think there's definitely an agenda for sure. Absolutely, 100%. But I think the only way to fight it is to stick to, to have discipline, to not follow like. Last year I made a decision. I went on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I myself am following some influencers, so I was like, unfollow. Just be more aware of your lifestyle and your surroundings and your friends and what you're consuming on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Do you guys follow girls on Instagram?
No, they fixed that for me. By deleting me from the platform.
You haven't. He only has MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.com. That's what I say.
Honestly,
bringing back my.
I only follow my wife.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually Lubna now because of the podcast and probably I think.
Yeah.
And that's from work relationship.
Work
You can tell.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than that. And it's
Did you when you first came on social media?
I never have.
No.
I've never. You would have never seen me ever follow FHM girls. It's that never.
Really? You just go straight to the message?
No. I'm a Muslim. I practice my religion to the extent I can, and for me, even if you were to do sins, I think I'd be ashamed to be public about it.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm like, you'd be ashamed. Everything's for privacy. These women, like you said, they're proud of showing booty. A man men have always been okay, like you said, through society. Like our dads came as freshies on the boats to the UK, saw a white girl, blonde hair. They probably perved into strip clubs, but it wasn't you don't share it. It's just like a thing you do. But women now, making it a public thing is like we're celebrating porn in a way which was out. Like it was.
I agree with what you're saying. I think we are. I think it's just been more naturalised now, and it's not taken as taboo because so many people can just access it as soon as possible, or just go online and fantasize over a woman they like, or pretending that she's a girlfriend and vice versa. It is kind of a mad world, because I think it is distant us from real life and who we are, and disconnecting us from other people, which ain't a good thing. It's like a program to say, let's keep people apart. All they need is a computer and everything is fine and they can do what they want. And it's not natural.
Seen as
shameful.
Shameful only a few years ago. So that's what's...
Well, yeah, I don't want to take responsibility away from men, but women have always been the gatekeepers. Men have always been men. I think if you look at any period of history in any part of the world, no matter what the culture, if men had unlimited access to sex, they'd take it. I think it's biological for men to be that way and try and reproduce as many women as possible. I think that women have always been the gatekeepers. They've always been the ones who are saying no. And if women break down the gates and no longer say no, then they're going to have promiscuous societies in godless cities like Miami, like I just described. And I agree with you in terms of them deliberately trying to destroy the family home. They are doing that. Part of it's for consumerism, because they want consumerism to be our gods. That's absolutely part of it. But another reason is, I think a lot of the plans that people have who are in charge of the world across the next 100 years are truly draconian, and they're truly evil. And the things they're going to plan to do to people and the lives we're going to be forced to live. And if you destroy the family unit, if you destroy the idea of standing up, the problem is if a man has a family, he'll die for it. If a man's woman doesn't listen to him, his kids he doesn't talk to, when they come along with these draconian rules and bullshit, you're kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll just move. I'll just move country, or I'll just leave it, or I don't care, right? They're trying to destroy the resistance and the resilience amongst the population so they can make slaves of us all. And I think that the family unit is a big part of that.
And
yeah, that's right.
Woman is the best way to do it.
Well, absolutely, because if you have a woman who's truly ride or die, truly by your side, and kids who truly love you, you're going to stand on that porch with a shotgun and say, no, you're not coming in this house. But when you don't have that, it gets to a point where it's like, not my fight, not my problem. And it actually extrapolates, not just from the family unit, it goes bigger and bigger. This is the reason why in Western societies, nobody knows each other. Nobody likes each other. If you live in a street in England, you don't know anyone. You don't know. You can live there your whole life.
This is what I mean about society. It's not like the olden days. My mum would say that, she'd go to a neighbour to borrow tea bags or sugar, and they could leave their back doors open in the early days. You rarely see that now. I think trust is an issue. With people, there's just no more trust anymore. Yes, you've got your own friends, you know your own people, but mixing in different circles. For young people, it's a little bit more easier, but for older people, generation people, it's not what it once was, and I totally agree with that. Nobody knows each other anymore, and that's the divide and conquer that I believe the Matrix want us to believe.
You don't talk to nobody, and then even if you do start to meet people you don't like, he's that color, don't like him, he's from there, don't like him, he likes that kind of car, don't like him. Nobody likes each other. Society is completely degraded. There's no baseline morality, there's no unifying factor, there's absolutely nothing. What happens is as soon as the law breaks down, if you look at even in America when there's natural disaster, as soon as the law is gone, as soon as the police can't turn up, it becomes, they start shooting at each other. It's a free-for-all,
We
right?
saw in Seattle, didn't we? After the BLM whole...
We saw after Hurricane Katrina, they're shooting at the cops, all this stuff.
They took over like a courthouse in Seattle. It was just like lawlessness.
So they destroy the family unit to destroy the town, to build these societies where everybody's innately selfish. You may be scared of the law, so you behave a little bit, but everybody's absolutely not innately selfish. So when they come along with complete insanity, draconian laws, where they say, because of the common cold, you're not allowed to leave your house, for example, we're going to put you out of business, and they wreck you.
Common cold.
Everyone sits at home and doesn't do shit.
And follows.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, well, not my problem, not. But when you actually care about your family, you care about your community, you care about your town, and it becomes much harder to control people, because the globalists and their agenda is to make slaves of us all. That's what they're trying to do.
Great point. I think COVID was a way of control to see whether they can control the mass. And to be honest, I think they beat the hell out of a lot of people. Many people, mental health rose. A lot of people don't go out because they were systematically confused and unsure about the world anymore. So I think the hierarchies, the heads knew what they were doing, and it's working their plan. And sadly, there's not much fight or resistance from us, the people.
And it's hard to make a slave of a man who has a family and believes in protecting his family.
But if 2020 taught us anything, they can easily do it. There's so many sheep in the world. Can I say that?
I was,
you can say what you want.
I was so disappointed.
Do you know what I realised from that? For years, I used to think, how did the whole...
Interesting. We'll go on, I'll do a part 2 another time. We'll go on to this at the end of the day, but I think there were some brilliant points made there. Sheep, I think, follow your own mind. The sheep mentality, I don't think is always a good thing. Sometimes the blind follow the blind. You have to. I've always been one that would always follow my own dream. If I saw something, I studied it, I looked at it, and I wanted to do it, I'd go out and do it. That's just me. But everyone's different. But we'll go on to that other point. Don't forget, should I say, to subscribe to the channel and support your boy Marvin. And thank you wherever you are in the world. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Have a good morning. Take care. Catch you soon.